Yeah, hi there, and these comments are for HE, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. Now, I think you sent me an email and you have some questions about speaking, and let me just kind of summarize your key points here, and then I'll try to give you some feedback. Now, your name seems very familiar to me. Now, my question is, I went into my online course and I tried to find you in there, and I don't see you in my online TOEFL course. So the question is, I think to really help your specific situation, you need to start posting speaking practice tests. You need to post them for me so I can start giving you feedback and see exactly what some of your issues are, right? So from what you're saying, you have 4 specific problems, right? You say, number 1, you go overtime. Number 2, you use too much ahs and ums and so forth. That means a lot of pauses and hesitations. Number 3, you say, sometimes I have to be silent for 5 seconds to think about the correct grammar or some words. And then 4, I have to use too much explanation to support my point, which can be done by a native speaker in one simple sentence by using appropriate words. You say, I don't know about this idea, but I call these problems using language, not the problem with TOEFL speaking. More precisely, I want to say I think it's better for me to concentrate on speaking purely by watching film and memorizing some parts of listening passages, but some say it's not appropriate for you since you just have 4 months and you should focus just on TOEFL tasks. It would be a pleasure to know your idea. Alright, so you have some pretty good questions here. Now, if you're not one of my students, obviously join my course. I have over 300 independent speaking practice tests you can practice today. I also have about 30 integrated speaking practice tests that you can start practicing, and you can get some feedback. I have over 700 different lessons to help you improve your vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, reading, listening, speaking, and writing areas, right? So let's address each of the issues you're having. So going overtime means to me is especially for the integrated speaking task, you're probably trying to say too much information. If you're summarizing, you need to condense the information down to the main and the most important supporting points. If you're going overtime with the independent speaking task, it means that you're trying to bring up too many reasons why you believe or support or agree with something. Maybe you're trying to bring up 3 reasons when you should only talk about 1 or 2 reasons and then give details for just those points. So that means you're having trouble managing a little bit of your time and your organization. Now with the ums and ands and that, these are called hesitations, and there's a connection between, I think, number 2 and 3, because you're saying like 5-second pauses sometimes, thinking about the grammar. That means you're not fluent enough. It means you need more experience with the language. Right? So to address this, to go to the final thing that you said, I think it's better to concentrate on speaking by watching films and memorizing some parts of listening. Others say it is not appropriate since you just have 4 months. Forget those people. You should not just focus on the TOEFL tasks. That's not a good idea. I don't believe in that. And guess what? I have a TOEFL course, and I'm telling you that. So keep watching the movies. I got really 3 recommendations for you right now. 3 specific things. Keep doing your reading every day. If you're not doing that, start reading every day. Practice with listening every day, but not just watching movies, but I would also recommend you focus on news, documentary history, and especially science programs. So keep up with the reading and the listening practice. If possible, try to practice about 45 minutes of reading every day, about 45 minutes of listening every day, and I probably told you this before in another video, you want to get in the habit of taking notes. You want to use your notes to write and speak about that information. In the case of writing, you can write maybe 3 250-word summaries every week. You can practice by giving 3 to 5 oral summaries each week of those reading and listening passages. I think that will be very helpful for you. So if you do those first 2 things, that's going to be very, very helpful to you. Now, I also recommend, you got a lot of time, right? So you can also start going through my online TOEFL course. Now, I know I post a lot of videos at YouTube, but you probably, if you haven't joined my course, I think that my course will be very, very beneficial to you, specifically in this way. Number 1, as you go through my course to help you, because you're pretty low right now, to go from 15 to 23 or 15 to 26, there's a big gap there. You're having a lot of problems. So first of all, when you go through my course, I want you to focus on vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. I don't know exactly how long that'll take, but my recommendation is each day maybe do a vocabulary lesson, a pronunciation lesson, and then a grammar lesson. The next day you might do vocabulary lesson number 2, pronunciation lesson number 2, and grammar lesson number 2. So you're kind of doing a variety there. You're not just doing one specific skill, but you're trying to do several things to keep your brain fresh. But go through those first 3 sections first. Especially, you want to build your vocabulary. This can address some of the problems you're having with your pauses and so on, because sometimes if you don't have a good vocabulary or you're not familiar with both basic and advanced grammar, that will cause a lot of the silence and pauses that you're having right now when you do the speaking. Right now, once you've mastered, I think, the content and the lessons in the vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar parts of my course, then move to the listening and the reading areas of my course. Complete the lessons and practice tests in those areas. Once you've done that, then move to the last 2 parts of my course, which are the writing and the speaking sections. So if you go through all of those 7 sections, this is why, Hamid, I call it the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. If you go through those 7 sections, this is going to build your academic English language proficiency, and then you will have fewer problems with what you were telling me in this email. For example, you will be able to better manage your time. You'll reduce the number of pauses and hesitations you're having in your speaking. You won't have those awkward pauses and hesitations, and you have a much more concise grammar to help explain your ideas, more similar to how a native speaker would say it. So it'll take time, but time is your friend here. You got 4 months, right? So I think you can go through my lessons in 4 months. The main thing too is start posting independent and integrated speaking practice tests at my VoxyPop discussion group. So that way I can get more familiar with exactly what your issues are. You see what I'm saying? And then I can give you even more specific feedback as to how you can address or solve or eliminate some of the problems that you're having right now. Alright, so in the conclusion of this video, to just go back to what you said in the beginning, do not only study TOEFL right now. Remember my first 2 suggestions? Do some reading and some listening practice. You choose the materials. This doesn't have to be TOEFL. And then you can also start going through my lessons in the different sections of my course by following the study plan I outlined in this video. And in a few months, your academic English skills will get better in time, and you will minimize or reduce a lot of the problems you're having right now. Okay, Hamid, anyway, thank you very much, and all the best to your high-scoring TOEFL success.